Holy crap, Anthony Joshua just got the second round knockout over Kristian Prenga. That fight was an absolute war. That was a barn burner. AJ gets dropped bad in the first round. I thought it was over. I genuinely thought it was over. Kristian Prenga hits him with an uppercut. Anthony Joshua gets sat on his ass. He gets knocked down. He's wobbly. He's shaking. His legs are looking unstable. He's all over the place. He just barely makes it to that second round. And in the second round, he puts some mustard on Kristian Prenga and just puts him out. That was a terrible first round for AJ. There's going to be a lot of questions now. There really are going to be a lot of questions. You know, the people were saying the Fury fight, AJ was just going to walk through him. But after seeing that, the Fury fight odds are going to be a lot closer than people initially thought. That was insane from Anthony Joshua. Bit of a rough start. Very much a rougher start than the Daniel Dubois fight. 100%. But he came through and he got the second round knockout, as he should have. He was a 95% chance of winning. He was a massive favorite. But to be completely honest with you, I think it's just the ring rust. I think it's just the psychological issues that he's probably got going on with the car crash and with him being knocked out in his last fight. So Anthony Joshua coming back after a 6-7 month layoff after being in a horrific car crash to get knocked down in the first round to face extreme adversity and then to come back and get the second round knockout over a dangerous, young, hungry heavyweight contender is incredibly impressive, and it's a hell of a lot more impressive than what Tyson Fury did against a 46-year-old plumber in Thailand. Quite frankly, Anthony Joshua deserves his flowers after that fight, and there will be a massive British super fight between him and Tyson Fury going on next. That was genuinely insane to watch. I was seriously worried for Anthony Joshua. I was seriously worried for AJ. You know, the amount of adversity that guy had to go through in that first round is crazy. Getting knocked down, he was wobbly. He was put on the canvas. His legs were wobbly. I genuinely thought it was over. I seriously thought that fight was going to be stopped. But he came through and he got the finish in the end. That's all that counts, and that's all she wrote on Kristian Prenga's career. That would have been probably the biggest heavyweight upset since Buster Douglas. And it does ring some alarm bells with Anthony Joshua. The chin is maybe showing some cracks. He's taken a lot of damage over the course of his career, and to get dropped by Prenga, obviously Prenga's a big guy, he's a hard hitter, but it's not exactly getting dropped by a massive name. It's getting dropped by some guy who was supposed to be a step-up fight. So the critics will definitely come out and come for Anthony Joshua, but it needs to be viewed through the lens of nuance. This guy's been through a horrific, life-changing event. He just came back and fought a dangerous heavyweight contender, and he got the win. So what's next for Anthony Joshua? Like I said, it's probably going to be the Tyson Fury fight. Massive, massive fights ahead for Anthony Joshua. I'm glad he did get the win, because time and time again in boxing, we constantly see the best taking step-up fights and then not being able to fight one another because they lose these fights. We saw it with Wilder taking on Zhilei Zhang, losing to Zhilei Zhang, and then we never got the Wilder AJ fight. I'm glad AJ came through, because Kristian Prenga versus Tyson Fury does not have the same ring to Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. So Anthony Joshua went out there and he got the W. Definitely a very hairy situation in that first round. And like I said, there will be a lot of critics coming after Anthony Joshua, because he did get dropped. And it was a sticky situation that he was in that first round. But he looked sharp, he looked powerful. He did look a bit slow and stiff on his feet. Obviously, Tyson Fury is going to be coming out and absolutely rinsing him very soon for that performance. But I think overall it was an impressive performance. And overall, it's a good win. It's a good win to have on his record. This guy he fought was 20-1 with 20 knockouts, clearly a power puncher. And AJ dispersed of him in the second round. Kristian Prenga, I think, he'll be kicking himself a little bit, because he probably could have got the win if he really swarmed AJ after that fight. He probably could have got the win. I think Anthony Joshua training with Usyk has made him a more technical fighter, but you know, we saw him just bite down when he was getting rocked. So the old Anthony Joshua really came out, and I'm glad to see it, because Anthony Joshua is one of these guys that he stays almost too technical. He tries to be too technical. He tries to be too perfect, when in reality, he's a massive dude, and if he just imposes his will on these guys, he can get the win. And that's what he did. He just imposed his will. He came out in that second round. He was not gun-shy. He was not hesitant. Would he get chinned against Daniel Dubois again? Probably. Would a Dillian White now probably give him troubles? Probably. Would a Moses Atoma give him troubles? Definitely. You know, the game plan, the blueprint to beat Anthony Joshua is out there. You need to overwhelm him with pressure, and he will wilter. Kristian Prenga sort of didn't do that. He did it initially, and then it worked, and then he sort of backed off. He got a bit scared, and that's unfortunate for him, but I'm sure he's going to learn from this. It was probably a big payday for both guys, so it's a win. It's a win for everyone, but Anthony Joshua coming out is a win for boxing because it means we get one of the biggest fights in British boxing history: Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. And I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see AJ back after a horrific injury, a horrific car crash that he was in. It's looking good for boxing. The future is looking bright. AJ with the second round knockout, absolutely insane. I really thought it was over for him. But he is back. Anthony Joshua is back in heavyweight boxing. He's back in the limelight. He's back. He's ready to fight Tyson Fury. This is going to be crazy. Genuinely insane comeback from Anthony Joshua. This fight was titled The Comeback, and the comeback, it was extreme adversity in that first round, coming back in that second round to get the knockout over a young, hungry guy. Incredibly impressive. Much respect to Anthony Joshua. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I'll see you boys later. Much love.